anyone else that might tune in partway through. My name is Scott Green. I'm one of our admissions counselors with Emory Henry College. And so this is going to be a session on talking with our students that are still undecided, still not really sure what they might want to go into, who are still looking. And this, give you some general ideas of how we work to try and help everyone out with that. And without further ado, I'm going to lead the stage here for Dr. Tracy Lauder to take it away.
So yeah, hi, I am Tracy Lauder. I have just finished my 17th year at Emory Henry College. I am most known for my position on the mass communication faculty, but recently I've been the interim director of the Van Vlissingen Center for Career and Professional Development. We're doing an expansion of our center, which is very exciting. We're going to be adding new staff very soon and doing some more programming. So if you join Emory and Henry anytime soon, you're going to be a part of that great new expansion. What I thought I would do, this session is supposed to be about undecided. So I know increasingly, many of our students come to Emory and Henry and aren't quite sure what they're going to do career-wise. But I also know as a first-year advisor and a first-year instructor that I've worked with for years, most students, even when they think they know what they're going to do, they change their mind by the end of the first semester anyway. So it's really nice to keep your options open and to look at different things. So what I wanted to do was just share some insight. At the Career Center, we are available to help people do some career discernment and kind of figure out what they want to do. So I want to talk a little bit about what that might look like and the kind of services that we offer. One of the things that I thought that I might do is I'm going to share the screen for our website because there's some really good resources on there, and I would love for everyone to be familiar to use that as a starting point. So I think I can share this. Is that working for everybody?
Looks good.
And now it probably isn't. Let me see. Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Good. So if you were to go to the Emory and Henry website, you will find, if you just go up into the quick search bar right here, and you were just to type Career Center, you would come to this homepage. So I wanted to let everyone know that that is an easy way to find us if you just go to Emory and Henry. And I want to point out a few things here that you can find. One thing, you can just find our staff. So if you wanted to get in touch with me or Ms. Gardner and soon the rest of our staff, there'll be a photo, even our phone, if you were to call us, that we get a voice message from you in our mailbox. So we're happy to talk to you even before you land at Emory and Henry. We know that's a very important thing to do. I also wanted to let you know that while we help folks find a job and get ready for grad school, some things you might be more interested in first is under choosing a major. And we've got some good resources here about things you might find. So one of the things we do is we offer some career classes that will help students into some discernment. But one interesting thing that we put here is a careers by major section. And if you were to click on this, every program, every major that Emory and Henry offers is listed here. And if you were to click on here, it will tell you some of the careers that you could do in mathematics. You could be an air traffic controller. These are some of the things that mathematicians may end up doing. And then down at the bottom of this, sometimes we put where students have done internships, or we also link you to another great website that we'll talk to that has information about that. So you don't have to remember all of that right now, but I do think that it is a great thing for you to know that that's there. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you about is schedule an appointment. You can schedule an appointment very easy. Right now you don't have your student ID, but when you get here you will. And you can also reach out to us now for an appointment. We also have a option here called Focus 2, and this will be available to you when you're a student. And Focus 2 is a place where it's a multi-career readiness program, and it allows you to take some assessments that you can then go over with a career counselor or an academic advisor. And what's cool about Focus 2 is it's not just a career assessment on the typical things we usually talk about, like things you're good at. I'm good at math, or I'm good at writing, or I'm interested in art, or I'm interested in the outdoors. But it goes even farther into like ethical values and the kind of things that are important to you in the world. And it also goes even farther into what you'd like to do in your leisure time, what kind of activities are important. And it gives you this multi-view kind of look, because what you choose to be a career ultimately should fit in with your overall lifestyle and what you want to do. I wanted to talk a little bit too, again, about that undecided journey. In my time being in higher ed, I have seen students come in and they're very much, they know what they want to do. One of the great things about coming to Emory and Henry is you're going to be part of that liberal arts education. And really all that means is you get a liberal dose of everything, or you can take a lot of different things. We're going to require you to take some different kinds of classes. So if you think you're going to be a scientist, you're still going to take a creative expression class in art or theater. And by the same token, if you're going to be an actor and major in theater, you're still going to take a science like chemistry or astronomy. And it makes you very well-rounded. That makes you marketable, but it also helps the undecided student explore some new things, explore what that could look like. And so one of the things that we do, we have a first year seminar, first year class that all the first years take. And you'll have also have a first year advisor that's uniquely trained just to deal with first years. And if 1 in 3 of our students coming in are undecided, and many more of those are going to change their mind, you're in good hands, because you'll have a lot of folks that are there to help you navigate not just that first semester or that first course schedule, but even ongoing from there. Sometimes students show up and they take some classes in the fall, they try some things, they like some stuff, don't like some things, and then you can try some new stuff the next semester. The other thing that we at the Career Center work in conjunction with the advising staff is to help you make connections. And that's a really important thing. So if you were to come in and talk about, I'm interested, I like art. I did art in high school. That was exciting to me. I don't know what to do with that. My parents want me to be a doctor, so I'm signed up for biology, but I really love art. And so first, we need to get you in some kind of art class so you can kind of try that. But what I would also do in a counseling session is I would connect you with one of our faculty members who's on the art faculty to talk about what sort of classes might you want to try. What would a career with an art major look like? I would also connect you with our Alumni Affairs Office. One of the things, if you join us at Emory and Henry, you will connect with one of the most amazing alumni networks ever. Our alums love to give back. In fact, I just emailed a bunch of them today to do another type of admissions sessions, and they respond back immediately. Yes, we want to talk to people that might be coming to Emory and Henry. So I would email with you our Alumni Affairs Director and say, hey, I have a first year student who's thinking about a career in art. Is there an alumni out there that could talk to them about their career journey, what that might have looked like? And what most students end up finding is few career professionals, and a surprising number of career professionals, have a very circuitous journey in college and after college because they've tried different things and they've followed that path. The other thing that we would want you to do is work with your academic advisors to maybe do a shadowship or maybe try an early internship. So what would an experience as an artist be like? Do you want to spend a day with a graphic designer? Do you want to spend a day with someone who teaches art education in the elementary schools? What kind of things could you do, and do you want to try that out? So those are some of the things that the Career Center can help you do too. So there's a lot of support at Emory and Henry for the person that's not quite sure what they want to do. And we know that's really scary. And we know it's really scary for parents too, to send their student off to college when they're not quite sure what they want to do. But that can be part of the fun of going to college, is to try some things and figure that out. So that's kind of some top level things I wanted to share today. And I'm happy to answer questions that Scott thinks I haven't answered yet, or any questions from any of our participants.
Thank you, Tracy. So one question I can think of that a lot of students tend to ask is, is there a set time by which they need to declare any kind of major?
Yes, there actually is. And it's not until the middle of the fourth semester, or that would be the spring, their second spring semester. So basically, what we're saying is by halfway through college, you've got to kind of pick a major if you're going to be on track to graduate. And so that's the only reason that deadline is there. But if you look at it, it also means you have 2 years to figure it out. And I have actually, in the Mass Comm program, had students come to me in that fourth semester and say, hey, I was in biology and I'm really good at biology, but I realized I was lonely because I was in the lab by myself all the time. And I think I need to be with people. And I took these assessments and went to some career counseling, and they said, hey, you might want to try communications work. And that's a true story. And I had a student come, and she majored in mass comm. Not all programs can you squeeze in quite that. You've got to look at, what'll work. But she came and she majored in mass comm, and she ended up going into healthcare communication for a while. So she combined that love of science with communication, and she did some work with FEMA, some emergency management work. And she's now actually a police officer. So talk about undecided.
I love it. There you go. That sounds like a very, very Emory and Henry story right there.
Yeah, yeah.
But it holds true. And, sometimes I guess this is kind of for Johanna and anyone else listening, is that sometimes you find a degree and you think, okay, I really want to kind of put myself into that one. And then you're like, well, maybe I want to switch it up a bit. And that's okay. That's
Yeah.
part, like you said, that is part of college. That's part of that experience. I can speak to it from my own experience being a student once upon a time, is that I came here thinking I was going to do English education, and I decidedly did not end up majoring in that by the time I graduated, as I graduated with, history and public policy and everything else. And so it is a journey, and that's kind of the fun of it too.
Yeah, and I think Emory and Henry is a really great place to do that. There's a lot of infrastructure to support that. Our and I say there's a lot of versatility and time to try things. Different programs require more time to complete a program. You get in something like the sciences, something that's preparing you for medical school. You may have a little less flexibility because you've got to take those courses in order that stack up. Some of the social sciences, there's a lot more room to put courses in different spots. Mass communication actually requires a minor because we like our students to have, I call it a secondary area of interest. It's a great way to explore and make you real versatile. But if you get into a program like education, and you want, which we have a fabulous education program, it's very interdisciplinary also, but our education program wants to be sure that you have all the classes that you need to be successful and to get your licensure in the state in which you want to teach. So it kind of depends upon what you want to do. But there's a lot of time. There's a lot of ways to figure that out early on, and sometimes even later.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Trying to think of some other regular questions that tend to get asked. You did actually a really good job of answering some of them. That I was
good. Some of our students, I've had students talk about their undecided journeys, and some of our students have talked about how they took a required course that they weren't even looking forward to taking, and they got in there and they got really excited about something. And so that changed their route. And so we think when students get in a class like, oh, I have to have a humanities class and I'm in art history, but then you get in there and maybe it's not art you want to major in, but all of a sudden you find out you love history, and it tends another direction. So we really encourage students from the very first semester to be very open-minded about the classes they're taking and what they can take out of that. I remember, and the story is there's actually an alum that works for the college right now who had a very circuitous journey at Emory and Henry, but it was by faculty members recommending classes that he take that he thought they might be interested in. He had a very successful journey. He started out in business, ended up taking some economics classes, was in sports management, had an econ professor that said, you should probably take a philosophy class. And he ended up bringing all that together to do graduate research about the ethics of the economic decisions of athletic directors. And it all came together in the end for him.
Right, there you go. I love it. Oh, just check. Almost, I think we lost Joanna there for a second, but she's back.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Johanna, could we ask what you think is something that you might be interested in taking a class in? We'll see if she puts something in chat.
Yes. And that's one of the things too, is that even if you just have an interest, you can absolutely find any kind of degree that's going to be relevant to that, or, whatever that might be.
Right. So I guess the big takeaways would be know that there's support from the first year advising staff, from major advisors, and at the Career Center. There are some innovative assessments we can do that foster a great conversation. We have trained counselors. We have advisors that are all eager to help people kind of find their path. In most places, we have a very flexible curriculum that allows time for exploration. And then we have a great external partners through our alumni connection and employers that will help students try something on. And I would also recommend that students keep an open mind, and really part of it is about developing skills, communication, writing, research. We have placed philosophy majors in high-tech industries because they have learned to think, they've learned to write, they've learned to research, they're critical thinkers, and that's what high-tech needs right now. They need people who can get in there and think large about a lot of the situations that we're dealing with in technology. So you don't have to be, because you have a degree in one thing doesn't mean you can't do a lot of different things.
And it sounds like in Joanna's case, she's looking for something creative.
Something creative. So if someone, based on that's all I know, if someone were to say, well, I want to do something creative, my brain instantly would go to, of course, things we might have in art. And that discussion might be, well, do you like to do things with your hands like ceramics, or are you into computer stuff? And then we would do like an Illustrator class where you learn to do computer graphics. Or
writing too, if you want to go down more the literary route.
Right. And so then that would be my next place. All right, do you love to write? And it doesn't have to be, are you a good writer? It needs to be, do you love to write? Because you can hone your craft. And so we have a range of things. We have an intro to creative writing class that sets you up to write nonfiction, fiction, poetry, different things. If you like the theater, there are ways beyond even acting to be involved and be creative. We have a lot of students work on entertainment set and design, and they build the sets and work on props and costumes, which is a very creative to be in. But you can also direct plays and not even perform. So sometimes we have to open our eyes to other possibilities in those programs. But, I think that biologists and mathematicians would think that they're very creative. You have to be creative to solve problems. So if you love math and love numbers, you might be a great mathematician and come up with the next wonderful algorithm. So there's different ways to channel creativity. You might go combine art with history and do an interpretive museum exhibit internship and bring those two things together. So that's where my brain goes when I do some stuff. I would want to sit down and ask a lot more questions.
Oh yeah. And I think too, I can't recommend enough, looking at potentials of double majoring, trying out different things, and finding ways to combine those interests too. Potentially even look into maybe even creating something of kind of morphing potentially your own idea of what major you might make.
Well, and of course, we have a great civic innovation major, but that's tied to our Appalachian Center for Civic Life. And so a lot of things that they do are creative problem solving for community needs. So that might be, how do we open a business in a small downtown area to help with economic development? And maybe that's a little art museum, who knows? But they might also be thinking of doing a fundraiser in a small town, and it takes creative people to do even a fun run. You've got to design t-shirts and figure out a route and market it and sell it. So, there's a lot of different ways. So I think that's what we can do at Emory and Henry through faculty and staff counseling and just creative brainstorming, is try to figure out what students are interested in, what skills they want to continue. I learned a long time ago, just because somebody's good at something doesn't mean they want to do it. But sometimes people work harder when it's something they want to be good at, and then they work at it. So what are you interested in growing and learning in? Where do you find your place in the world? Some people come to Emory and Henry and love children. There's a lot of great opportunities to work with children. Some people, I had a student come in who was like, I don't know what I want to do, but I know that even though I like people, I want a job that I work by myself most of the time during the day. And I love numbers. And I said, you should consider accounting. And in fact, she's in accounting now, but she's also been a Bonner Scholar, and she's done a lot of service and nonprofit work. And she says her big dream is to be the CFO, the chief financial officer of a huge nonprofit one day. So she's brought together her wanting to work with people and contribute and give back to communities, but also that she wants to sit and work with numbers most of the time. And so I think that's a really cool story. And, to have people that kind of hear what you're saying to help you kind of find that path. It's exciting, isn't it? Scott and I are thinking back to our times in school and what we were doing.
Yes, and I truthfully was a student that found my main major simply by the recommendations of others along
Yeah,
the way and trying things out.
yeah, for sure.
Excellent. Well, Joanna, do you have anything else that you might want to ask us, or maybe you're thinking about in terms of college, or anything for questions? Give you a second to write something in the chat there. Gotcha. Just exploring, checking out. There we go.
Yeah. So Johanna said, no, she's just exploring. And I think that exploring is the perfect word, because I think if you look at college as an adventure, even if you're not a high adventure person, and I'm not, but you can look at it as low adventure, but exploring is, and to bring that kind of open mind, and keeping in mind, as I said before, just because you're taking a statistics class doesn't mean it has to be all about statistics. Usually, I know in Statistics 162, which our social scientists take, they work on a project. So how can you combine all this work you're going to do applying statistics on a project that's something you're interested in? And so choosing, even in those classes, how can I learn more about another area while I'm working on learning skills in this area? So I think that that's another way students can do that, is to, when they have assignments in a class, to pick something else they're interested in and bring it all together in a project. So good.
So, well, if there's no other questions, that's perfectly fine. But I will actually go ahead and just put my contact information in here so that I can be reached. If there's any questions about admissions or anything else like that, or next steps. I'll put in my email. I'll throw in my work phone for good measure. Why not? Just toss those in so you can reach me.
And I am about to, we're, as I said, going to onboard some new staff at the Van Vlissingen Center, the Career Center. But that's why I showed you the website, because I wanted you to see that the team of staff there, although it's going to grow and transition, I will transition out of it as a new director comes on board. It's easy to find. If you just go to the Emory and Henry website and type in Career Center, you can get to that and get to that team of staff and just reach out to somebody. The Career Center's open virtually this summer. Happy to talk to students who haven't committed to Emory and Henry yet. If that's helpful to think about what kind of majors we offer. And, I had a student that didn't come to Emory and Henry at first because we don't have a marketing major, but she went to another school and was unhappy. And she's now at Emory and Henry because she didn't come away with the knowledge that she could marry a mass comm degree with a business degree. And I connected her before she joined with us with 2 alums who have marketing manager in their title. I said, let them talk to you about their journey and how they got there. And so I'm happy to talk to a prospective student, anyone at the Career Center would be, about majors and careers and what Emory and Henry's programs could set folks up for. But you can find us on that website.
All right, awesome. Well, I think if there's no other questions or no other things to ask about here, that we can kind of reach our end on this. But if you all have, if you ever have any more questions, please visit our website. Please feel free to contact me or Dr. Lauder here or anyone, and we're happy to help you out with that. But thank you, Tracy, so much for
Yeah.
giving us a good explanation today. I actually learned a few things or two myself. So.
Yay. And Johanna, thank you for coming and talking with us. We hope you will join us at Emory and Henry and explore your creativity.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you all so much, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.